Ladies and gentlemen, I've been speaking to myself for the past 5 minutes. I can't believe it. I forgot to hit the go live button. But you know what? I have a reason. Guys, give me a sign of life here. I gotta see and make sure that my live is coming through and my egg-headedness didn't transfer. Yeah, all right, I'm showing live here. I cannot believe that. Okay. I was talking to myself for the first 5 minutes, and there goes bloviating hour. Okay. A little bit of background here. I was this close to canceling this morning's live stream because thank you, Bob. Thank you, Ham White. Thank you, Jamal. Yeah, coming through. I feel like such an idiot. I was just talking to myself for 5 minutes. I forgot to hit go live. I hit record, but I didn't hit go live. So at least it's under recording. Kamashi, I think I had a good combo. And I was even responding to Nancy's comment about fertility and woman and childbearing and all that. It was hilarious if I'm thinking back to it. Anyways, I was about to cancel this morning's stream. Last night at around 5-6 o'clock, I had a complete work emergency. Like I'm talking meltdown. Like imagine all of my inventory was yeah, Robert. That's what I'm talking about. Imagine all my inventory was basically quarantined for an unknown reason. And I wasn't even notified. I had to figure it out for myself and say, why are sales down 80 to 90% today? And I had to start investigating. I barely slept and I'm using every available avenue to me. So then I thought, I have this stream tomorrow, but I'm not missing the day. I haven't missed it so far. And what, we're 4.5 months in? Nah. Always good to be with you guys. So without further ado, and enough about my work troubles, let's get after it, right? That's what Chris Cuomo says, which we could talk about him a different day. Jamal, no, not incoming inventory. Inventory I already own. But they're actually, it's spread throughout the Amazon network, called Fulfilled by Amazon. So it's spread throughout their warehouses, and yeah, it's my inventory until it's sold to the customer, and all of it has been, or most of it has been quarantined for some unknown reason that I'm trying to get to the bottom of. There is a known tactic of a competitor filing some sort of triggering complaint against you to quarantine your inventory and to teach you a lesson. It may be combative in that sense, I have to say. Okay, let's do it. Righty. Last night, Trump claims that the Strait of Hormuz is completely blockaded by the U.S. forces. It's, quote, fully implemented. That's what CBS News says. Now, I don't know if the ship or ships that made it through the Strait of Hormuz were before or after the Iranian ports were, quote, fully implemented. And on top of that, Trump said that we're very close to a deal with the Iranians. Either way can go for me. Like, why fully implement it and you're very close? I guess that turns up the pressure. And I'm doing this by memory. I believe by blockading the Strait of Hormuz completely, you might blockade Karg Island. Maybe. We have to see. Guys, I'll get into the business part later on. And perhaps I may let's see how long this goes on for, because I may publish a different video on my other channel, my e-commerce channel, about my learnings and stuff like that. Okay, and it's also funny. On my last stream, as you guys may know, a lot of people go in and watch these streams while after I'm live. They go back and watch the recordings on YouTube. somebody left a comment saying they don't like my interaction with the comments live streaming. I'm like, are you kidding? This is the whole point. I hope to have you in my live stream. So interacting with you guys is the whole meat and potatoes of this stuff. Ham White, well, we know for some 20 vessels made it through yesterday. Iran has a shadow fleet of vessels under different flags. So now I'm gonna try and see. Trump says they don't have a military and they don't have an air force. A lot of my, call it nasty comments, are saying they do have a navy and it's baffling to me the amount of pro-Iranian voices that came out. Yeah. But something else that's encouraging as a part of this world is this world of the world events that are happening as a result of the Iran war, is the talks between Lebanon and Israel. I mean, Lebanon and Israel sat down at the same table. That's I think that's a big deal. Let's see how the Lebanese government can really hold up to be against Hezbollah in northern Israel, southern Lebanon, whatever you want to call it. This can be huge. And I'm sure that's on the U.S. administration's roadmap. If Hezbollah could be weakened to the point where Lebanon actually has a government, where Hezbollah is not a political party and doesn't have grasp of Lebanon, I'm sure it's on their map. To be an expansion of the Abraham Accords, maybe in addition to Saudi Arabia. Let's see how this war ends, and so on and so on. Let's see. Okay. And I want to talk about the Swalwell Gonzalez resignations from Congress as well. Swalwell. So I'm reading different corroborations. CNN was able to corroborate some stories through text messages and interviews. I don't know particularly about the Gonzalez case, but I stand by what I said on Monday. I don't think guilt by accusation is a good standard to embrace. That's the first thing. Second thing, there are very big concerns with both of those congressmen's behavior. That's the second thing. Third thing, they should be investigated. If members of the House, by the House Ethics Committee first. If not, by, I guess this is the FBI kind of thing, because it crosses state borders. Or at least one of the stories do. But innocent until proven guilty, everybody, right? For an expulsion vote, well, let me rephrase that. For an expulsion vote, I would not require a level of due process. I think you let the houses determine how they will expel a member. Something that I learned from the George Santos interview yesterday that Michael Smerconish conducted. Well, I guess I know why he brought George Santos in, because George Santos was expelled from Congress. He was not expelled after an element of due process. And Smerconish was trying to get his perspective on, do you expel Swalwell without the due process? And surprised but not surprised, Santos said, well, I didn't get due process, so they don't get due process either, and I don't like them, but we should all be deserving of due process. That was my reaction. I'm like, are you serious? Anyways, I wish him the best in his recovery. I'll put it that way. I don't think Santos was the right interview for this topic, or at least, yeah, I don't think Santos is the right interview for this topic because of Santos. I I mean, whatever. I didn't really see the value in interviewing Santos for this instead of someone else. Maybe my bias speaking. Maybe Alan Dershowitz, or maybe I don't know. Call Professor Lawrence Tribe, someone like that. Yeah, Santos wasn't a good one. Maybe a legal scholar in due process or criminal law, someone like that. Suen, why is anyone listening to Santos? Listen, Santos has a point of view. He has a point of view. He underwent something that only 6 people have ever gone through. 3 of them were Confederates, and he has a point. He has a point in his expulsion. Now, the point he was going about in derailing the whole prison system, justice system, so on. Michael was right to put him in his place. That's for sure. Sean Nichols, I give you my word as a Santos. That's hilarious. Pete, good morning. Santos still playing victim. I'm not even going to get into that. I will say I had a front row seat to the special election that replaced him. I will say that, and that was a nice seat to have. You know, like a sliver of it was in New York City, so I was able to see that up close. Alrighty, let's get another couple of headlines. Donald Trump says U.S.-Iran peace talks could resume in Pakistan. So let's see how that comes out. I mean, I wonder how much of the reporting is true, because if the United States said we want 20 years of no nuclear development, and then Iran said, or enrichment, and then Iran said 5. I can't believe we're doing JCPOA 2.0, 3.0, if you count the Biden one. Whoa. What was the point of all this? And of course, as Smirkana said, getting more than 10 years to outdo the original JCPOA is definitely a bar. Definitely a bar of where we don't want any more nuclear enrichment. Now, here's a nuance. If we're able to get no nuclear enrichment for 15 years, number one. Number two, we extract all the nuclear materials. That's a good deal. If we extract all the nuclear material and they say no nuclear enrichment or no nuclear pursuit for 15 years, 10 years, 20 years, I think that's a victory. I think it's a victory that makes this all worth it. Of course, with Trump's name, Jamal, yes. It will have Trump's name on it, the best deal ever. Yes. Okay. Before I go on, guys, please thumbs up, and let's thumbs up, and if not, subscribe for notifications. Do that. I had a premiere go live on Sunday, so some of you, sorry about that. I don't know what happened to my connection. I think I'm live again. Nancy Lawrence, I was responding to your comment. Why did Chuck Schumer vote against the JCPOA? I believe because the anti-Israel sentiment didn't take over the Democratic Party like it did now. Tammy Moran, yes, I think a New Deal could be trusted because Jamal, you're hilarious. I think a New Deal could be trusted because the way they'll be implementing it. First off, a deal won't be approved until Trump is able to save face and Israel can verify. That I'm positive of. So I think that much they can verify, especially given what they've done over the past, 6-8 months to Iran. So there's that. Okay, so let me continue with the headlines here. This should be getting a lot more press than it is. The inventor of Bitcoin might have been unveiled. So for 17 years, 17 years, the inventor of Bitcoin operated under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. Fun fact, I got plenty of spam emails from Satoshi Nakamoto asking me to send him Bitcoin or something like that. Um, it's just hilarious. Like, you read some of the spam mail, it's hilarious to think that people really go for this. But hey, the reason why they send it is because some people go for it. And the New York Times has a piece where they released their investigation, and they claim they, quote, may have found the inventor of Bitcoin who's been hiding behind that pseudonym. This guy's name is reportedly John Carreyrou. Oh, my apologies. John Carreyrou is the investigative reporter for the New York Times. Spent a year digging through thousands of old internet postings. And Adam Back, Adam Back, is the alleged inventor of Bitcoin. So they published the interview directly with Adam Back, and Adam denies it. Think of it. Adam Back is a British cryptographer in Miami in this picture. So I'm going to put this link in the chat here. It's a fascinating piece. Let's put it in here. So, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy that article. For those of you watching the recording, you could still see the link in the live stream. So, just imagine, how rich, how influential, if this man is honestly the beginning, the inventor of Bitcoin, he has to have some stashed away. He has to have some treasure trove of pull, influence, and I always believe that there's a backdoor. Imagine what he can do to financial systems. Imagine. So I'll be Bach, Mr. Ham White. That is hilarious. Okay, let's hit some more headlines, and then I have something to ask you guys. Oh, let's see if this blows up. Omaha police shoot woman after child is slashed with a knife. Omaha police identify a woman killed during attempted kidnapping at a Walmart. See the difference in those headlines? Listen to the difference in those headlines. Omaha police shoot woman after child is slashed with a knife. That's the first one. The second one. Omaha police identify woman killed during attempted kidnapping at Walmart. Third headline. Knife-wielding woman shot, killed after attacking boy at Walmart. Police. Guys, I mean, people who write headlines these days, terrible. I guess this is not a case of police brutality yet, but that happened. Okay, I have about like 6 minutes left. Let me go into some Swalwell coverage because I want some more information here. So I'm looking at CNN has, okay, back up. Pelosi distanced herself from ally Swalwell amid sexual assault allegations. Well, that's Fox News running that hit piece on her. Here's a CNN piece. A CNN piece, which is the exclusive, the one that I was really looking for to find if there was any substance behind the Swalwell case. 4 women described sexual misconduct by Swalwell, including former staffer who says that he raped her. I would quote, I was pushing him off me saying, no, this is the woman told CNN. And he didn't stop. She said it was the second time. And here's what CNN says. An attorney for Swalwell said 2 of the women CNN spoke with cease and desist letters on Thursday. The letters came from the women accounts. The letters called the women's accounts false, ordered them to retract their statements, and warned of potential legal action if they continue to speak out. Like I said, the woman should speak out. If it's true, for sure. The letter said women's claims were undermined by their voluntary and cooperative relationship with Swalwell over the course of many years. Was it, I mean, was there really a voluntary and cooperative relationship? If they're claiming that they were forced into something like this, how much of it is voluntary? Could have been. It could have been. See, here's the meat of it. CNN reviewed screenshots of dozens of messages Swalwell exchanged with the woman, many of which are flirtatious in nature. None of the messages reviewed by CNN are sexually explicit. The woman said Swalwell generally sent more graphic messages via Snapchat. I guess what it was meant for. Where messages are automatically deleted after short periods of time. Snapchat also warns senders if screenshots are captured. Yeah. So how much there is there? I don't know. Let's all right, ladies and gentlemen, we have 4 minutes left. Apologies if I might have seen out of it. I'm sure it's understandable. But I have a question for you guys. You guys know I do this on the side of work. I don't do this to replace my income or do anything like that. What do you guys think if I put together a free course hosted here on YouTube, I think, a free course about responsible news consumption. Something like, imagine, like, go back to what I posted, one of the pre-recorded sessions on Passover. How I keep informed from multiple angles. And, I don't keep informed like someone who does this full time. If I did this full time, I would just never stop reading and covering and listening and watching and all of that. But I don't have time for that. The best I do is I carve out a half hour every 2 days to hang out with you guys, go over some topics that I think are worthy of opining on. And perhaps that free course can take off. I would go into a lot more detail on how I consume audiobooks, ebooks, because I went over it in very, very small detail before. I can go into real detail there. How I read on those books, how I scan the news for biases, because I don't believe there are any objective news sources. We are human, right? We are human. There's no such thing as completely objective. There's always an ounce of subjectivity in anything at the very minimum. Correct. Nancy, fact or opinion, it needs to be explained. You're right. Journalistic standards. Oh my God. I mean, I learned what they were in school because I took AP political science. And I also took a constitutional law class where I learned about defamation and the New York Times versus Sullivan. I mean, all of those things matter when you're reading and consuming the news. So there's that. Something that I thought of doing. Ham White, a free course might be interesting, but my post was too broad for the average reader and listener. Your own approach is more concentrated than I dive into the understanding the specifics. It could be that. Right. So if you're going back to my live stream earlier, I'm thinking that, yeah, I mean, it could have been broad, but imagine I zero in on one element and go and conduct deep dive into every element of that I rehearsed for you. I can go into a lot more detail on how I apply that in complex topics. So yeah, Jamal, they teach responsible media and social media consumption in the Nordic countries from a very early age. I mean, that's exactly what I'd be putting out, and this will be completely free of charge. Honestly, my incentive is, number one, to further the mission of responsible news consumption. I mean, that's why I even put out content. The second is, I hope to expand the following, really. Eventually, if this can make up some part of my income, that'll be phenomenal. I can dedicate more time to this. But that's where I'm going. Guys, don't get sour on me. This community is the center of everything. So that's just something I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about doing. So that's how that's gonna go. Ladies and gentlemen, we just hit 8:30. Let me scroll back in some comments, see if there's one or two I can bite off, and then we'll head out to work. Sue Ann and Jamal talking. Strange critique, right? Why would somebody discourage interactions from a live stream? I'm with Charles. It's one of the best aspects. Yeah. I mean, you can go back to Monday's live stream. You'll see the comment. That's crazy to think that somebody actually said that. Let me grab one more comment. Jamal responding to Nancy, date rape is rape. I hate that stupid term because it minimizes the severity of the damage. No opinion about the term. I mean, date rape is very descriptive of what happened. Yeah, it's super descriptive, and from those two words you can understand more or less the confines of how whatever allegedly happened. But yeah, it's definitely still rape. I still have to stand by innocent until proven guilty in a legal sense. The House expelling a member, if a House wants to expel a member for political reasons, the House should be able to do that. If that's the standard they want to conduct themselves by, I believe in giving the House or the Senate that kind of liberty of running themselves in the way they wish. It may come back to bite them, but I do. I said what I think. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you Friday. I'm gonna go back, read the comments about that course thing. It's just something that was on the top of my mind, and yeah, there's that. That's that. Everybody, have a great day, and